Hello guys, EDDBUD here and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got one of my world famous comparison videos for you. I'm going to see how the Nike React Infinity Run shapes up against the Asics Novablast. Before we get into the comparison, if you are a new viewer, please hit that subscribe button, and it would be fantastic if you could click the bell for notifications, which is just below, so you are notified when new videos are launched. Do me a big favour and hit that like button. This morning, got out with some early miles, 7 miles in fact, in the Hyperion tempo from Brooks. It was around about 7 minutes 35 per mile. Feeling really great in these. And I noticed that the midsole's kind of changing in characteristics. It got me thinking about the Asics Novablast and the same phenomenon happening in the midsole there. It made me realise actually there's quite a lot in common between the Novablast and the Nike React Infinity Run. I'm going to put these two up against each other today and see who comes out on top. These two shoes are both highly cushioned models which lend themselves to daily use. We've got a mass of cushioned material in the midsoles in both of these offerings, and there's certainly a generous amount of outsole rubber too. So let's dive into a more in-depth comparison between the Asics Novablast and the Nike React Infinity Run. Stats first for you. The Infinity Run clocks in at 315 grams in my UK size 11. Slightly lighter is the Asics Novablast at 305 grams. So a small difference between the weight of the shoes, very minimal though. We got a 10mm drop in the Novablast and a slightly more conservative 8mm drop in the Nike React Infinity Run. Information on screen in terms of stack height. As you can see, there's very little in it between these two contenders. The first round is the upper Flyknit on the Infinity Run in two different types. We got the lofted Flyknit in the toe box here, and then this more stretchy, well-known type of Flyknit in the rest of the shoe. It's kind of weird, that Flyknit at the front here, that lofted Flyknit. Feels more like packing material to me. Without too many overlays and stuff, the Flyknit retains its shape pretty well. It's nice and flexible, nice and comfortable on foot. And you've got the slightly more elastic tongue section through the middle of the shoe. I found the upper easy to achieve really good lockdown, though I do seem to fall at the upper threshold of a size 11. I've actually found it quite a breathable shoe, even in more warmer temperatures. When I first got the shoe, it was really cold and I had no issues with it then. The Novablast upper is a more traditional affair. I do find it a little bit too wide actually in terms of the upper in the toe box area. It's just really voluminous there. The laces included with the Novablast are just far too thin for my liking. They really don't give too much. As you can see, I've put some slightly thicker black laces into this one. That's improved things quite a bit. Much better lockdown now, and they don't cut like cheese wire into my fingers. The upper feels quite a bit lighter than the Infinity Run, but it lacks those seasoned iterations that came before it, and the Infinity Run upper just feels a little bit more on point in terms of the materials that are used and how they've been used. There's obviously some stability nods here in the Infinity Run with that heel clip at the back. I wouldn't say it's an out and out stability shoe though. I think for upper, I've got to recommend the Infinity Run over the Novablast. So it takes the award for upper. With the upper material here, it's just almost too flexible, and that creates a bit of an issue in terms of stability. Please Asics, just put some thicker laces in next time. Onto midsole now. So both of these clearly maximally cushioned shoes. The Novablast though, when you first get it out of the box, it doesn't really feel like that. It looks kind of like a pace shoe, but I don't think it is. On first examination of this shoe, the Flytefoam Blast midsole material is something a little like Zoom X perhaps, or even the Fuel Cell midsole found in New Balance shoes. Though over time its properties change a little bit, certainly over the first 20 or 30 miles. It's become a little firmer, it's become a little more controllable. The Infinity Run has a full React midsole. There's certainly a lot of it here, and it does have a similar rocker action to some Hoka shoes you've seen in the past. I think it says Hoka more than it does AC/DC. I think both of these shoes are really aimed at daily use, hence the huge amount of midsole material there. That React material does feel a little bit more dense out of the box, certainly more stable underfoot than the Flytefoam Blast that's in the Novablast. Though, as I did mention, that material is starting to change now over time. Certainly way too squashy and infirm out the box. It certainly wasn't to my liking initially, but it's becoming a little bit more conservative now and better across a range of different paces. It's kind of like a fine wine, it's getting better over time. I think for me, I enjoy both of these midsoles really. for a variety of different paces, so I'm going to call midsole a tie. Round 3 is the outsole. Certainly a very generous amount of rubber on both of these shoes. Perhaps even English dinner lady overcrowded plate generous. They certainly weren't scrimping when they put the rubber onto these two. For me though, the uneven rubber distribution on the Novablast just perplexes me. Just presents a really weird conundrum. I don't quite get it. I'm not sure I understand it. I think I'd just rather have it spaced across the whole of the outsole. It just seems odd. It does create quite a strange, unbalanced feeling. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm really enjoying this shoe now. Really am. Hence the number of miles I've put into it this week. It just can't believe it got through testing like this. Who tested this shoe? The outsole's excellent in terms of road grip and traction, but on more uneven surfaces, it does suffer from imbalance. If you're on something like grit or a gravel surface, it really did have some problems there. The Infinity Run, with its more traditional, I suppose, outsole rubber, is for me by far the most stable of the two, and I think a better all-rounder in terms of the outsole. I do see both shoes lasting the test of time, but I think the Infinity Run takes it for me for outsole. The 4th round is value. So with a £20 difference between these two shoes, there's not an awful lot in it. Certainly if you're looking for the cheaper option, the Novablast is the one to go for. I have seen it for as low as about £90 if you do search around. Obviously the Infinity Run, very rarely discounted this one, although I think there could be a Nike discount over the course of this weekend, so do watch out for that. I think those that want the stability of a wider kind of landing platform and a bit more width up front here in the toe box, the Infinity Run could be the way to go. I think those that don't need the wider landing area here in the forefoot or the slightly increased room in the toe box in terms of width, then you could probably opt for the Novablast here. One thing to note, the Infinity Run is somewhat narrower here in the arch. For me, I still feel the Novablast is somewhat of a prototype of a shoe. There's some really good ideas there, I'm just not sure about the implementation of all of them. I think we've perhaps got a better implementation of the Flytefoam Blast midsole material in future iterations. I think it's still a very good shoe if you can perhaps pick it up around the £90 mark. That aside though, if miles are your concern and you want a solid but cushioned shoe with comfort and you're not really worried about road feel too much, then I think the Infinity Run could work really well for you. Though for value, the Novablast takes it. So, final thoughts for you. Neither shoe's really got a huge amount of road feel here. You kind of feel like the guy stuck up in one of the top floors of a tower block or a skyscraper. Much like Clark Griswold in the hit film National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation, where he's kind of hitting on the springboard of his model swimming pool. He's wishing to experience the fun and frolics that are going on down at ground level, much like Ferris Bueller has on his day off. That's not to say that fun can't be had in either of these shoes. The Novablast really comes into its own at pace and at some slower miles actually. And the Infinity Run is comfortable and fun at the same time. Both shoes offer a good varied experience and both are relatively versatile. But for me, that versatility doesn't come straight out the box. You need to put some work into the midsole to get it to that state. Okay, I hope you've enjoyed this comparison video. Please let me know in the comments your experiences and your opinions on both shoes. Time for a musical interlude. I dug out this awesome album from the Vaccines. I remember when this came out. It's a very exciting time actually. Really great band. I think they've gone through a few changes in terms of personnel over the last few years, so I'm not sure the exact same lineup is still there. But songs like Wrecking Bar, If You Wanna, and Blow It Up are real winners. Some great pace to those tunes, loads of energy. The slower tracks are really great on here as well. I do have a live version of this album somewhere, but I do seem to have mislaid it, so I need to try and find that. I don't know where it is. So do check them out, great UK band, The Vaccines. Thanks for tuning in guys, I really do appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button, it would mean the world to me. If you are a subscriber, but you haven't clicked on the notification bell, please do, then you'll be notified when new videos are launched. Hit that like button and share this video with your friends. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you